What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Ballas Forever. I'm B Wise.
I'm Miles.
I'm Trigger.
And I'm Lamar.
How we doing tonight?
Special
fellas?
guest in the building.
Special guest. Very special guest. Mr. B is back with us. We didn't run him off. We back with another show. How we doing?
I can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Cowboys is on the bye.
My Pistons are the best team in the East right now.
Yeah, they balling right now.
Kay Cunningham missed 31 shots and they still won the game.
What's up, Soul? Look at Soul here in the beginning. Yesterday.
Hey, my boys on time this week. Here we go.
Oh,
Yep,
oh,
but,
Mr. Benefield, happy Veterans Day to you, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank y'all. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love and the support.
Yep. Definitely happy Veterans Day to all the vets here in the chat. Be wise. My pops.
Appreciate
Thank y'all for
it.
everything you've done.
And shout out to our boy Wap. He is actually going to Africa today to serve his country.
Yep. They opened the Oompa Loompa factory back up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just playing. Love you, Wap. Safe travels. But yeah, we kind of freestyling tonight, fellas. I ain't had nothing really. We know we got a brief, soft outline. I don't know. We want to start in NFL. We want to start.
Well,
with the
Mr. Benefield brought up Stephen A. Smith, and now that he mentioned it, I kind of do want to talk about that.
So I might like this too, Stephen.
Yeah. All right, let's get it.
Yep. So I just wanted to get y'all take on on what y'all felt about on Stephen A. I was listening to. I don't do a lot of podcasts or a lot of things on the internet. However, I do listen to. If y'all remember Jamel Hill, used to be on ESPN back in the day. Had that show. I think it was called His and Her with old boy, right?
Yep.
And she used to actually sit with Stephen A. from time to time. When before they ran her off. And then there's another guy named Roland Martin that I listen to, every now and then. I just check in with him. And both of these people, both Jamel and Roland Martin, are pretty cool with Stephen A. They were good friends, I would say, colleagues, nonetheless. However, when he made those comments about Jasmine Crockett, they both went in on it, and because I guess if you true friends, they can say what needs to be said. They called him out, and he actually came back and apologized, for a lot of the backlash that he received. But Jamel made some interesting comments about Stephen A. that kind of made the light bulb go off in my head, because I was wondering why was he doing what he was doing. Again, I ain't got nothing against him speaking out politically. I think if you're going to step into that arena, you better do your homework, do your research, know what you're talking about, because, at the end of the day, he's a national figure, probably international for that matter. And anything that he say, obviously, is going to be scrutinized, by people, And I've always found him to be a favorite. I'm a big fan of First Take. I don't watch too much of his XM shows or his podcasts or things of that nature, but I do see little clips every now and then, when he's on other podcasts, like Carmelo Anthony and, Ryan Clark, right? So, long story short, I have been, I've seen him on Fox News, you see the clippers and snippets they'll take and pull certain things that he say and post it out there to make it seem like he's, erring on the conservative side. Now, with him, not necessarily calling, Trump out. He's mentioned a few things about President Trump. Him winning the election, talking about there was a mandate from the people, and then he went after, Jasmine Crockett, what I'm saying, who's a Democrat, obviously, right? And then, you didn't really call out nobody on the conservative side, but you're calling out liberals, so to speak. So my question, or the question I had for myself as I was thinking, what I'm saying, what's going on with Stephen A? Why is he all of a sudden, kind of airing or leaning toward the conservative views when he's never really been, outspoken about, conservatism, if that makes sense. But the point that Jamel brought up was that, being that he's got that bag of money now, he's built himself as a businessman and, trying to become an empire. I get all of that and I support all of that, right? She says that he's leaning toward the conservative side because that's where the money is. So, he's kind of making what she called a calculated heel turn. And the thing that brought that to the forefront for her was comments that he made about Kyrie Irving. Y'all know how outspoken he was about Kyrie during the vaccine period because he wouldn't take it and he was missing games and all of this type of stuff. And nobody was a bigger critic of Kyrie, than Stephen A. Stephen A. went in on him, time and time again. Every chance he had, he shot him down. So he had recently went on a podcast and kind of backtracked on that and was saying about, Kyrie's hindsight, the brother was right, talking about all the conspiracy theories, blah, blah, blah. So he changed his tune. And she brought that up, based off of him making those comments. She said that, the media, everything, she talked about CBS, Paramount, some other folks that had, got recent new owners. And these owners are conservative folks and they're paying people to change these networks to become somewhat conservative, if that makes sense, right? So Stephen A. is now, because he's a businessman and he understands how that game is played. He's been doing this for 30 plus years. He's now making certain comments or trying to appease to a particular audience because of money. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So I just want to get y'all take on that because, again, he's a person that I always thought, that I applauded him for speaking out, for people of color, especially during moments, outside of sports, things going on, in the world when it comes to, police brutality, things of that nature, political this, political that, he gonna say what he gonna say. Right. But he has taken on a different tone here as of lately. As of lately, I'm putting emphasis on that. As of lately, that's been more of a conservative appeal, if that makes sense.
I'll go first, if you don't mind. I do agree with the whole money aspect. I think a lot of times who these guys, like what side they go for is due to money. Because I don't know if people remember, Elon Musk was a Democrat. And, the Democrats, he tried to, do stuff with the Democrats and they wouldn't let him. But then Trump gave him all these promises and now he's a Republican. So that may have something to do with it. As far as the Jasmine Crockett thing, I don't know everything he said. But from what I see, from what I heard, did he crucify her or did he just told her if you want to get stuff done, then, you need to work with the president instead of talk crap about him? Which I don't agree with, but is that really dogging her?
I think he backtracked those. He backtracked those and apologized for those
comments.
comments.
Is that considered, talking bad about her or just disagreeing with how she's handling things? Again, I don't think she should do that with Trump, but is that really dogging her, as they're saying?
Well, see, the problem was with the majority of folks that hit him with the backlash is that he called her out for her tone.
Okay.
Because she was, consistently, constantly going at the president, right?
Okay.
But I brought up the guy Roland Martin. Roland Martin is a guy that that used to be on TV One. He's political. He know his stuff. He's factual, and he's a good friend of Stephen A.
Yep.
And reason why I bring him up because when he went at Stephen A, He went at him. He came from a place of love, but he told it like it was. But he broke it down because Stephen A. made comments that, hey, what are
But there's
question
no
what she was
break.
doing,
It's no breaker
as if she was not doing
for
anything
that.
for her constituents.
So the
But the
team actually
problem
went out and said
that
internet
Roland
connection.
Martin took was that, okay, hey, well, we're going to break this down, what I'm saying? If Stephen A., if you're going to call her out, at least be factual, what I'm saying, with your comments. He didn't have a problem with him calling her out. His problem was the record that she has, what I'm saying, achieved for herself. That's what he didn't bring to the forefront. And when trying to say that she wasn't doing any work and her constituents, didn't vote for her to do what she was doing, by going back and forth with Trump. You see what I'm saying? So, her record does speak for itself. Roland Martin broke that down, when I watched his little clip and things of that nature. And that was the issue that, Stephen A. called her out for her tone, the back and forth with the president, saying that she should be trying to work with the president. But Roland Martin cleared all of that up when he went at Stephen A. and said, if you're going to come at her, come correct.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Steve. I'm a big fan of the sports Stephen A., but I think he is out of touch when it comes to politics. I mean, there's nothing wrong being a fan of politics, but I think he's kind of out of touch when he, goes against people who have careers in politics. Because, like you said, Roland Martin took him to school. So I mean, I don't understand Stephen A. trying to get into politics, but yeah, I listened to his podcast. When he went at Michelle Beadle, Jasmine Crockett, and Frank Champion, and I think Stephen A. made a valid point, and this is something I need to ask. Is this a black woman thing or is this a political thing? Because he made a point. If this was Candace Owens or Winsome Sears or Sage Steele, would he be crucified for saying what he said if it was one of them three ladies?
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, like I say, I'm a fan of his too. And I think if you can step into that arena, I agree with Roland Martin. You got to do your homework. You got to come correct with the facts. And that's what the pushback was from Roland Martin and even Jamel Hill for that matter. You know what I'm saying? And these are two people that highly respect Stephen A. But they called him out, you know what I'm saying, on what he did. And like I said, he did go back or come back and apologize. Now I didn't catch the take that y'all just brought up about who was it? You say Michelle Beadle. I forgot all about Michelle Beadle.
Yeah, well, no, it was three black women who are conservatives. Winsome Sears, the lady who just ran, the black lady that just ran for governor.
Right. Yep.
Sage Steele, who's a known conservative, and Candace Owens, who's a known conservative.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I would have went at those three ladies, how mad would y'all really be? So is it a black woman thing or is it a political thing?
Yeah, but see, I didn't hear him, again, and maybe that's part of it. The again, the pushback was the folks that he went after. They put black women out there. Now I haven't heard him say anything about any of that because again, I don't get out there much. I just happen to hear the Jasmine Crockett thing because obviously it went viral. I know, there was some beef between him and Kerry Champion, but that was, years ago, and really don't know all of the details out of that. And I believe that was more sports related, probably.
Well, that was more so of the Ray Rice situation. Stephen A. Smith made some comments about, I don't know if you remember Ray Rice putting his hands on his wife.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith was like, Ray Rice was wrong, but you shouldn't have put your hands on him first. And I think that's what Kerry Champion, she felt some type of way. Like I think Kerry Champion's stance is a man shouldn't put a hand on a woman, period.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of rubbed her the wrong way.
Yeah. I forgot about Michelle Beadle. I don't even remember them having a relationship, so I don't even know what that was about. I do know Kerry Champion was a host for him at one time, and then all of a sudden, that fell apart. And then again, like I said, I didn't even bring up the stuff about Molly. You know what I'm saying? That she just all of a sudden, decided to walk away or whatever happened because again, we don't know all of the details. But I just wanted to hit on that political thing. I agree with you. I think, if you're gonna step out there, you got to know what you're talking about because if not, man, they're gonna eat you alive. So I agree with you. I think you should just stick to the sport. I do appreciate the fact, that he will step out there. He don't run from anything. and he'll say what need to be said, especially when we have the stuff going on, like police brutality in this world. You know what I'm saying? Something done happened to a black man. Blah blah blah. That's not right. He gonna call it what it is. But the thing that caught me was here lately. He's been leaning and making more conservative, conversation tones, comments, and things of that nature out there. And then the thing with Jasmine Crockett just kind of took it over the top.
Right.
I follow Stephen A. and I watch him too. I consider Stephen A. more of a moderate Democrat, an old school Democrat, an old school Clinton Democrat who is a little controversial to the Democratic Party right now with everything that's going on. But I think he is in a good space in politics. I mean, he's been a journalist his whole life. I like him in politics. I like the different angle, and with the way media is heading already, it's decentralized. So if I think if he wants to offer his opinion, he's good at interviews and all that. I welcome it. But then this is the second time that I've heard Roland Martin going after Stephen A. because he just went after Charlemagne too for the same reason, talking about how they're getting into politics, and it's not them really getting into politics. They talk about Stephen A. is getting into politics.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, he's into
Charlemagne, I guess it would too, but he's going on CNN. They're the new voices. I mean, but they've been voices. We heard them from sports. We've heard them from radio for Charlemagne. They've been voices in our community forever. I don't think it's a wide gap for them to now venture into politics.
And I mean, that's fine.
Donald Trump is our president, so that's why I'm like, if Stephen A. can't be in politics, but Donald Trump is our president.
And I mean, that's fine that you get into politics, but like Mr. Benefield said, do your homework. I think Charlemagne does his homework.
I think Stephen A. I agree with you with Stephen A. I don't think it was I think it was how he said it and who he said it to. It wasn't really what he said. It wasn't anything that I think was unstudied. Y'all just don't like who he was attacking.
Right.
Because I think you're right. If it was Winston Earls, nobody would have said anything. I just think it's who he was attacking. And I think Roland Martin now is starting to pick up on how do I get in headlines even more. Charlemagne's coming out here getting views. Stephen A. Smith's coming out here getting views, but nobody sees me. How can I come out here and get views?
Well, Roland Martin, shout out to Roland Martin. He's my frat brother. But I think Roland Martin, he's been pretty famous. And I mean, I'm not saying that to be biased, but I don't think
his community, but he's not a crossover like a Stephen A. Smith or a Charlemagne.
Well, I mean, he's made some appearances on First Take a couple times. He's a big sports fanatic, but I think his huh?
I was talking to Lady Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, his fan base is maybe just straight political, and he's trying to dabble into social and sports, but. You never know. I mean, everything's about the green dollar,
Right, and that's what I was going to interject next. Again, I've always been a fan of Roland Martin, even when he was on TV, and then obviously, he kind of got, I don't want to use the word pushed away because, again, I don't know all of the details, so I don't like to speak on things if I don't have all of the details, so I try to be careful for what I put out there. However, I do watch him on his show. He's got, the podcast, on YouTube. He talk a lot of business stuff, a lot of financial stuff. He's definitely in the, he understands how, the government works, how things go down in Congress and all of that, what I'm saying? So he has the knowledge that a lot of, average people don't, even a guy like Stephen A. Not saying that Stephen A. don't have knowledge, but again, I think, when it comes to that, Stephen A. probably needs to, step his game up and do a little bit more homework, when it comes to that. And I do like the fact that he has the platform, talking about Stephen A., because, again, I'm a fan of him, always has been. I'm a First Take guy. You know what I'm saying? But, I want to see him if he's going to step out there in that political arena, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you got your T's crossed and your I's dotted so when we come, he's coming correct. The thing about, him and Jasmine Crockett, I don't see it the way other people see it because, they're trying to say he's going after black women. I haven't seen him or heard him call out any other women of color. And again, it's because, my footprint on the internet or social media is kind of non-existent. So I just happen to catch that little bit on the, what you call it. I do have one little LinkedIn because I was in the military, you know what I'm saying? And I do go on there from time to time to check in with a couple of people that I served with back in the day. So, it's kind of like everything else. It has a little bit of everything on there. So that's where I saw the Jasmine Crockett thing on LinkedIn. So when I saw that, then I took to, YouTube to see what else was going on from Roland Martin's perspective, because I saw the headlines where Roland Martin went after him, Jamel Hill went after him, and I check out Jamel Hill. She was one of my favorites when she was on ESPN back in the day. And Roland Martin and Jamel is kind of cut from the same cloth. They're the type, you know what I'm saying, that's going to speak truth to power. No matter what it is, who it is, blah, blah, blah. They're going to speak the truth. They're going to tell it like it is, whether you like it or not. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. And I think that's the reason why, one, she hasn't made it as far, or hadn't been allowed to make it as far as she did, because of her views on certain things. Because she's been in the media, the journalist game just as long as Stephen A. have, 30 plus years. Now, I got it. She's a black woman. You see what I'm saying? He has broke down barriers. I put him second to my man that passed away. I did a paper on him back in the day, Stuart Scott. Yeah. I remember when Stuart Scott first came on the scene with the booyahs and all that type of stuff. I wrote a paper about him in college. And I think Stephen A. has been the next coming of that, as far as from a journalist perspective, being able to have that voice, attract the attention, speak what needs to be spoken, but doing it as a black man, and breaking those barriers down, to become, kind of the empire that he's kind of created for himself. And I want to see him go far. And, I know he was getting a lot of backlash and people calling him a sellout. I think he's far from that. I don't think he's a sellout, looking at all of the issues he's got going on, with this political stuff. And then even throwing there like the LeBron thing. You see what I'm saying? The back and forth, the beef that he got, with LeBron. So I don't know. Just wanted to get y'all take on Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. And one thing, I think with the LeBron situation, I think that's more so inside stuff. Because Stephen A. said LeBron has done some shady stuff, and he's not going to tell what it is. But he said LeBron has done some things to get him off of ESPN. So as a man, I can understand why you feel this type of way with LeBron. One thing I do know, we live in a world where people will watch clips and not the whole video.
Yeah.
Because I watched his podcast, and I watched clips of his little rant he went on Michelle Beadle, Jasmine Crockett, and Carrie Champion. And people in the comment section was, you have all this vitriol for Carrie Champion, but why not Michelle Beadle? But if you look at the video, he went at Michelle Beadle for 30. He went after her for 30 minutes.
You was in prime time. You can't even average 50. I was like, oh
yeah, he went at her for 30 minutes. I'm like, what are y'all clearly did not watch the video. He went at her, and then he went at Carrie Champion, and he really didn't even go at Carrie. He was more hurt by Carrie than you could tell he was really hurt by that. And he only talked about her for what, 8 minutes? But that's the world we live in. People watch clips and not the whole video, and then want to form a misinformed opinion. And I used to be like that too until I started. Okay, I need to watch the whole video.
Yeah. The context matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with society these days, is that when it comes to stuff like this, the media puts certain things out there a certain way so that they get a certain reaction from a certain group. And it works. Like y'all say, people watch this stuff and they just go off of a 30-second clip rather than watching the whole 10-minute video. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's not the responsible way to do things. It's not the responsible way to get information to form a opinion about somebody or a situation without getting the full story. And then a lot of these issues come up. We don't really get the full story. We only just get a decent amount of it, but enough to make, an informed opinion, not just, a feeling-based opinion. So my thing about with Stephen A. is I think a lot of people already have these preconceived feelings about him. And he's just one of those guys that whether you hate him or you love him, it doesn't matter what he does, you're going to find something either negative to, crucify him with if you don't like him, or you'll make an excuse for him for everything that he does, even if it is wrong, because you do like him. So that's where I feel like, a lot of Stephen A's hate comes from is people who hate him or they love him, and they just base everything he says, whether it's true and he has the facts to back it up or not, to make an opinion on how they feel about him. Now, I've seen Stephen A personally go after conservatives as well. I just think the fact that he goes after liberals blows up more
Yes.
because, a lot of the people that follow him are of the African American community. And a lot of those African Americans are with the Democratic slash liberal side of things. So, and that's the whole thing with politics is like if you're on one side or the other, where the other side is completely wrong, there's nothing good about that side. Whereas Stephen A, he's kind of, he's going on record and said, I'm a registered independent. I'm not Democrat, nor am I Republican. And
But
he
hold on, Trigger.
does.
I also want to state he's also stated he's voted for Kamala
Kamala
Harris,
Harris, yes, he has
Barack
stated that.
Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Bill Clinton. So you're
Yes,
talking about what, almost 30 years of voting Democrat?
yes, he has stated that. But I think as of recently, he also stated that he's become a registered independent. So I don't know if that happened after the Barack Obama term when Trump came into office the first time, and then him and Biden was running. I think a lot of people made their own votes or like picked a third option, because the candidates, Trump and Biden, they were just so. That was really the first time I've seen an election in my lifetime where people were just they didn't care for either side. They didn't think either side was good enough, or it was an embarrassment. The presidential race in this country was. So maybe that's around the time frame he decided to go independent. I don't know exactly when, but he did say that he's a registered independent now. So Stephen A has called out both liberals and conservatives. I've seen him have several guests on his show, on his podcast, and he questioned the conservatives and challenged them about things. He's going on TV shows, conservative shows, and challenging them about things, as well as on the liberal side. Because at the end of the day, both parties they have a job to do. They got questions and things they got to answer to. They got things they need to do to make this country run a little bit better, right? And whoever gets put in office, somebody's not going to be happy. I think Stephen A's whole
Right.
mission is no matter who's in office. I know, Miles, you disagree with this, but whoever's in office, we're going to have to work. Both sides will have to work together. And I think that can be effective because, you're not going to have a situation where one side is going to have control over everything. You might have a Republican in office, but who's controlling the Senate? Who's controlling the House? When you go to the state level, who's controlling all these different things? So you got Democrats and Republicans all over the place. It's
Right.
not just in Washington, D.C. So these sides are going to have to work together because when they don't, we get things like the government shutdown. That's the biggest example we got right now. Democrats, Republicans going back and forth with each other, egos getting in the way. By the way, they still getting their checks and stuff, but guess what? The citizens are suffering because they can't work together on a solution so that this shouldn't have happened, or work on a solution to absolve this issue that we have. Um, but that's just one example. There's a million other of cases and situations out there right now where they're on one side or the other, and they're not coming together to trying to find the best possible solution. Like they're not compromising, and it's hurting the people in between. Me, you, everybody who is an American. So that's why I feel like Stephen A's number one mission is he calls out Democrats and Republicans because he's trying to find a way to bridge the gap to get these guys to kind of work together. He's not just questioning one side or the other. He's going at both of them. And I think, like I said, it's getting highlighted. The liberals and all that stuff is getting brought up, and people are calling him a sellout and stuff because of, his background and his base of supporters are mostly African American. So I think that's where he gets his hate from, because anytime he credits the Republicans for doing something that benefits the country or whoever, he gets backlash from that because, when have you ever heard a liberal say something good about a conservative, right? So it's like if one of our own says something good about the other side, it's like, oh, so you on that side now, or you playing the fence. So like people just don't trust him when he does stuff like that. But I think it takes a real person, a real character to kind of call out both sides the way he does. Like he said it himself that he's talked to people on his show on both sides. He's invited people onto his show who have yet to accept his offer to come on the show and talk to him. and debate with him, and I respect the fact that he's willing to go anywhere and talk to people, or people come on his show and he can talk to people. But I think, listen to him talk about politics, you know, he's not as well versed as the people who are in it, but he does have an idea of what he's talking about because he's on shows with the people who are doing it. And they are, he's going back and forth with them and he's debating with them. And, he's saying some good stuff and some things that, I would feel like somebody who's in between the questions you want to ask would ask. So I don't think he's just kind of doing this to put on the show. I mean, yes, he's got to appease a certain audience and whatnot, and I think he knows that too, making the kind of money that he makes. But I do think there is some genuineness in terms of how he comes off when he goes and he questions the liberal side, the conservative side, and how to make things better for for everybody. I just think that he gets the hate that he does because he's giving conservatives time of day, I guess, to either credit them or, do something to put them in a light, when they do something beneficial. But that's kind of where I'm at on it. I love Stephen A. as a sports guy. It took me a second to kind of adjust to the whole political thing. But the more and more I watch him, the more and more I feel like, he does do his homework and he does respect that realm. And he tries to do his best to match wits and go at these guys respectfully and asking them tough but fair questions. But that's pretty much all I had to say about that. Is I feel like sometimes he unfairly gets criticized when people, one, don't see the whole picture and everything in the context that he states it in, and two, just people who've been loyal to him, his fan base, largely being African American communities for the most part, don't like when he goes and says nice things about the other side.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into it, fellas. NFL headlines, news, and picks. What's some top headlines, some top things y'all followed or saw from the world of football this past week? Or you want me to throw something out there?
One thing real quick. Jonathan Taylor, he got to be the MVP. And secondly, he has single-handedly carried my fantasy team to a 9-1 record this season. Shout out to Jonathan Taylor.
And he has the best touchdown celebration in football with the JB Block Boy dance. I love that.
Yeah, I love to see him get the MVP simply because he's not a quarterback.
Yes, yes.
Just that bias. I mean, he doing his thing. Shout out to him for how he running the ball. The impact that he has on that offense. I mean, because again, give the quarterback a lot of credit. He's doing his thing too. But that dude Taylor, man, he putting on a show this season like no other. Well, my big NFL headline is the injury to old boy that went to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I would say my biggest headline is let's hold the brakes off of the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you.
I told everybody. Well, I thought Mike was going to have a big year this year, but then he was going to drop off. But I said he was not worth their money, and it's completely showing. And Jordan Love, if Jordan Love is not playing in Dallas, Texas, he is martyred. When he played against the Cowboys, that is Tom Brady-esque. Everybody else, he's average.
See, everybody get up for the Cowboys, though. Even Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. The Green Bay Packers have averaged giving up 13 points these last two games, and they've lost both of them at home.
They've lost a third game too. Didn't they give up 11 to somebody and still lose?
Cleveland.
Somebody. It's three games this year where they gave up just like I think it was under 15 points, 3 games, and they lost all 3 of them.
Yep, yeah, because they lost to
somebody early in the season.
They lost to
the
Browns.
The Browns. It was the Browns. Yep.
And then they lost to Carolina 16-13. Then they lost to Philly 10-7.
Yeah.
Jordan Love is not the answer. He's just not. They got a problem on their hand with his contract and Michael's contract. I've said during all season, Michael Parsons ain't nothing but a great third down specialist. And if you get a big tackle on him, he's pretty much he's a non-factor. He's not good against the run. He has no power. He's just straight finesse, and it's starting to show.
Yeah, I think Jerry is looking
I'll be
good
right
so
back.
far. We still got a half a season to go, but right now the Cowboys and their front office and the decision they made to move on from Michael Parsons and get what they got for him looks like a stroke of genius right now because Michael Parsons has been absent the last 2 games. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's still adjusting. He's trying to get used to things. Maybe he's trying to get used to playing in the cold. I don't know what it is, but
Well, Trigger, it's gonna get worse. It don't get warm in December.
oh yeah, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's cold in Virginia right now, so I know Green Bay is it's definitely freezing. At this time of year. So yeah, I don't know, but like I say, Michael Parsons with the Cowboys. One guy's not enough. Man. This team's gonna need a whole overhaul with the defense. They need guys at every position for the most part. And
So what you
even
what
if Michael
you think,
Parsons was on this team this year, I still don't think this team the defense would be that much more successful.
what you think about the picks they just got during the before the trade deadline?
Oh, I was a big fan of it. Obviously, we need more. It's a
Yeah.
great step for next year. I don't think that's gonna really help things this year. I mean,
No,
some
this year's
pretty
a wash. This year's a
some
wash.
yeah, some pretty crazy things are going to have to happen. Some teams is going to have to fall off a cliff for Dallas to have a chance at the playoffs at this point. But I do like what they did. I like Quinnen Williams. He's a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Him and Kenny Clark, making that nice 1-2 punch right there in the middle of the defensive interior. And then they got the linebacker from Cincinnati who was playing well. He'll be a nice veteran and be instantly better than anybody that we have on the roster right now. And we got him. I think we got a couple years before his contract comes up or not. So I like the fact that both of these guys they don't have to pay them right away. They can, it's going to take some time. They got them for a little bit, and they can build around them. And they still were able to retain their 2 first-round picks for 2026. And this draft class coming up is going to be rich with edge rushers. So I assume, hopefully, they pick an edge rusher with one of them 2 picks,
Yeah.
preferably the first one.
I was trying to think of the dude I was watching last weekend. I watched so much football, I can't remember which game it was. They've got an edge rusher, man, that's playing out of his mind. And I was thinking to myself, if the Cowboys can pick that joker up right there and add him to the picks that they just got, in this upcoming draft, man, they're gonna be on the stuff. I cannot think of his name. It's gonna come to me, man, or what team he was playing for.
You didn't remember what team he was on?
No, I forgot because again, man, I'll be flipping channels and watching so much football till it's all running together right now.
So I got a question. So their first round picks. So is it their first round picks in Green Bay or how does it work? So let's say if Green Bay goes 12-4-1, that means they'll have a late first round pick from Green Bay.
I think it's 21 right now.
It'll be a late round pick more than likely.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Dallas, so whatever record Dallas first round, whatever Dallas record is, they'll have that for theirs as well.
Right.
So we need Green Bay to tank so we can have 2 first good
Well, they'll probably be in the playoff runnings somewhere, again. Now, still a lot of football left to play. They could fall off. And let's just say, hypothetically, they didn't make the playoffs for some reason. Because you look at the division that they in with Detroit, who's favored to win the division, especially since they lost this last game. Chicago, I don't expect for them to hang around.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
They kind of just, this is just some luck shedding their way, but they got a tough schedule down the stretch. I don't see them, holding what they got. So Green Bay would probably place second in that division, which might cause them not to make the playoffs, given how deep the NFC is with teams out there with good records. So then that will put them probably early 20, in the 20s for a pick, talking about Green Bay, but wherever they land, that first round pick, is going to the Cowboys. So I don't see them tanking to get, no high pick. But I think whatever they get, they Cowboys usually draft pretty good.
Yeah.
And they definitely need to be eyeballing another edge rusher to come in there. One of them young Thundercats coming out the league, man. And I really need to go back and look at the schedule of who played last weekend. It might have been the week before last. But this was a brother, man, and he was wreaking havoc during that game. I mean, they couldn't do nothing with this guy.
I also think
Is it Texas A&M?
It might be. It might be Texas A&M.
I think Dallas also needs to get corners.
Yeah, absolutely.
That their secondary is horrible. I mean,
but can y'all?
it'd be 3rd and 23, and players are
We're
running
giving up
wide.
first downs, huh? Thank you. I thought it was just me.
They did that 3 times in that game against Denver.
3rd and long and can't get off the field.
It was 3rd and 17, 3rd and 19, 3rd and 15, and all 3 times they gave up 20 yards.
Right.
On 3rd down.
I mean, they're running.
And the man was wide open. Won't nobody near him.
Is it time to walk away from Diggs? I say
yes.
I think Diggs and Bland. Well,
I'd never believed in Bland anyway. All them interceptions he got, why the quarterback keep throwing at him?
Well, it's the same thing for Diggs.
DK Metcalf exposed him a couple seasons ago. That one game he had against Seattle where he gave about 130-something yards. DK Metcalf in the first half.
Yeah, that was on a Thursday night.
Yeah, after that game, I was like, yep, that's why they keep throwing it over there to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with Diggs. Bland, they overpaid him. Yeah, we need a whole overhaul in the cornerback.
Yeah, we need an edge rusher, and they need to concentrate on getting some corners.
Can y'all sit? But y'all drafted Ezeraku last year, and you paid Diggs and Bland. Is it just time for them to perform?
Yeah, they need to move on.
But I mean, Trayvon Diggs is who he is. He is a person who plays very aggressive. And when you are an aggressive cornerback, you are going to bait for the double move, and he has been going for the double move his whole career. That year when he had like 12 interceptions, he also had the most yards given up and the most touchdowns given up. Like Trigger said, there's a reason why you got 12 picks. Because quarterbacks are not afraid to throw it to you. Whereas a Darrelle Revis, he'd be lucky to have 3 picks because
they ain't gonna throw it his way.
They're not even attempting to throw it his way.
Yeah.
He cuts off half the field.
Appreciate the lurk, Ethos. Well, that happened to us this week with JC when he got beat.
Bro, get Jovich out the game.
Hey man, come on, Trigger, give him a chance, man.
No, he's just undoing the whole performance he had 2 games ago. I mean, he is on a one-man wrecking crew right now. He's on both ends of the floor. Turning the ball over and then going back on the other side and just, oh my goodness, I can't with this dude. Watching heating calves.
Oh, y'all ain't seen that beat down Orlando putting on New York by 20 at the half?
Yeah,
oh my good. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing because a 20-point lead might as well be a 5-point lead nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, y'all want to go NBA? You want to stay in the NFL a little bit longer? Because I wanted to ask y'all about Dayball. How y'all feel as fellow NFL?
Overdue.
Yeah,
ain't gonna fix nothing.
Ain't
gonna fix nothing.
They should have got rid of somebody. They should have got rid of that GM.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He need to go to.
The head coach. That's why I say ain't gonna do nothing. They need to get rid of him. They need to clean house in the front office too. They need a whole new group in there.
But the thing of it is, though, they got the talent. They just, for whatever reason, like I said, the reason why the Giants lost that game to Dallas is because they are better at finding ways to lose than Dallas. They've had 4 or 5 games where they're up by 10 points in the fourth quarter and you lose all 5. I mean I just find that's a finishing problem.
Is that coaching? Yeah.
I mean, the coach can only do with so much, Wise. I mean, eventually we got to start putting blame on the players.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to finish the game. Like, what does the coach have? That's like me saying, "All right, kids, you know, you need to, do this assignment. You have to do assignment. I can't make you do it. You have to,
Bruh,
eventually got to do it
come
on your own."
on. I'm about to say that was a terrible call.
You're like, y'all are getting paid 7, 8 figures.
Yeah.
Like, get it done.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
got to stop blaming the coach for everything. What's the difference in you playing three great quarters and then you stinking up in the fourth? Like, what is the coach doing to where you're messing up that bad?
Is it?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, some players got to get some level of responsibility at some point.
Yeah.
It can't always be on the coaches, but I just think the way they handled that Saquon Barkley situation, they should have been gone. At least, the front office, maybe not Dayball at that time, but the front office should have, the way they handled that whole situation, yeah, they should have been fired on their way out
But my
behind
thing of it,
Saquon.
my
But as a
thing of it,
Cowboys fan, this is great. I hope they don't change that. Get
mm,
another head coach in there to keep the same, management intact. Be good to go.
but my thing of it is though, Trigger, if they let's say they would have signed Saquon, would he really made a big of a difference? He's playing in Philadelphia, where you got the best off. You pretty much got the most consistent team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that organization is, from head to toe, run well.
Yep. Howie Roseman
You
is
got
the
to
G.
know if you got a running back like Saquon, then you're gonna have to draft or bring in free agents. You know what I'm saying, to put an offensive line in place so he can do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
You can't just say, okay, we got Saquon and think that's enough. You got to fix the other pieces around that. Because just like you just said, he went to Philadelphia and look what he ended up doing, going behind that offensive line. Therefore, he had a 2,000-yard season. Now, the offensive line for Philly is a little different this year due to retirement and injury. So, they ain't running it as well. So,
Right.
again, the pieces you put in place matters. So they got to fix that offensive line. So, you had a dynamic running back, but he wasn't going to do you no good because he wasn't doing nothing when he was there. He couldn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? No holes to run through. No offensive line to, to do what need to be done to spring him and pop him. Because he run through some of them holes sometime and he don't get touched till he hit the
Right.
second level.
I think it's gonna be interesting too because I think y'all got in-season hard knocks this year. I think I was hearing too on Evan Canty and Michelle that they're gonna have in-season hard knocks with the NFC East. And the last time the Giants had hard knocks in the building was them talking about the Saquon trade. So imagine what you're gonna see this year with Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, and all the other kind of stuff they got going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you're gonna see the investigation of them going into the blue tent with Jackson Dart and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's gonna be the gift that keeps on giving. But all right,
You
let's
want,
keep
you
it
want to
trucking.
talk about your Panthers or you good?
I'll hit on.
Hey,
I'll
Katie
hit
can't
on.
go to no more games.
Katie
You
can't go no
told you
more
done told her.
games. Yeah, Katie
0
can't
and
go no
2.
more games. As everybody know, I've only seen my Panthers lose twice in person, and in both times it's been with my wife, and both times it's been divisional games. So she is done. 2 years in a row, she done. She out there. Hey, look, I felt it too. I felt it going to the stadium. Look, we got there free parking, got there on time, went to our seats, sat down, game started, met my section mates. We all talked. Bro, I sit in the first thing I do is I sit in a different seat. I sit in my other seat for the first time ever. This year I sat in my other seat. We get out there, we score a touchdown. I'm like, yeah, all right, we up there. Yeah. Dang. Bryce Young threw a pick. All right, that's a penalty. Okay.
What
All
in
right.
the world?
That fumble. Pick, fumble. I'm like, we gotta switch seats. So I was doing like what's the
Wise,
Celtic
wise,
pride?
wise,
I did the
wise,
Celtic pride. We switched seats at halftime.
wise.
What happened?
You do realize you have no input on the game, right? Yeah,
That
just like
you
Celtic
can
pride.
believe that. You can believe
Yeah,
Hey, I'll be superstitious too now.
you can believe that.
That's something my mom.
Trigger.
That's something my mom told me. She was like, "You do realize these Cowboy players don't even know you exist. Like
Yeah, they say that.
you have no input on the game."
I felt bad because I pointed at JC one time before he fell, and I was like, yeah, that's me. But no, JC, shout out Tyler Shaw. That man had 160 yards at halftime, I think. he pushed the ball deep. Chris Olave, the Saints, they came out there and looked good. I mean,
Hey, shout out to Crystal Ave as well. He's
yeah,
another receiver on my fantasy team.
he ate that day. He ate that day.
Oh, he
But
did. I saw it.
I don't want to talk too much about it. We got injuries piling up a little bit. We can't depend when we stop Rico. We got to throw the ball. Bryce Young is 31st in yards per attempt and deep passes. I don't know if it's Dave or Bryce. I got to see something this week. He usually does well in Atlanta. He had 300 yards last time he was in Atlanta. 3 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. So
Well, they're
we
gonna
got to
have it
see
this
something.
year. Atlanta's got the #1 pass defense.
Oh, they got beat 30-0 last time.
Yeah, he only threw for 120 yards.
That's fine.
Mm.
I think we may lose again, and we're
Okay.
gonna be 5-6, and we got a tough schedule. We got I think it's Falcons, Saints, 49ers, Rams, Bucks. No, it's Bucks, Rams, Bucks, Seahawks, or Seahawks, Bucks. We end with the Bucks.
Y'all have got to win these next two.
We got absolutely have to, and we need the Bucks to lose this weekend. So we'll see how that go. That's all I gotta say. But yeah.
All right.
Let's move on to hold on, cause a little minion walked in here. Trigger, you wanna go to your part, Coach Trey?
Sure.
Let me see if I can do this. It didn't work. I tried, but go ahead. Let me get the play up. Or do you want to go to Jimmy Johnson first while we in NFL?
Oh yeah, let's hit that real quick. I
All right.
forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Man, Joey's out here gambling, man.
How you doing that? I'm gonna finish my baseball.
No meal. They don't deserve to eat.
We couldn't eat, man. We were starving, man.
And I am just fuming because of the way we played. So the flight attendant starts to serve the meal, and I say, no meal. They don't deserve to eat.
We couldn't eat, man. We were starving, man. What are we eat? We can't even eat on the damn plate. A grown-ass man that just played a whole football game for you. He was a dictator. He was and he didn't care what guys thought about him.
I want them to expect to win every single time they go out. I want them to be nauseated, to be sick at their stomach when they lose. Because that's how I felt. After that loss, we...
Before you speak, Trigger, I just want to comment. Excuse my French, but you hold back food from me after I just played a 60-minute ball game, I'm whooping your ass. At the end of the day, like, look, the other team gets paid $1 million too. I'm sure you didn't coach a good game, so is you eating too? Like, no, that's not the right thing to do. You take food from me after I done played a 60-minute ball game, I'm whooping your ass.
But I'm sure the coach didn't eat either, right?
He better not.
Can I dispute that? And again, I hadn't seen that clip. That was the first time, right? And I'm sure it's more to that. And again, we just talked a few minutes ago about players being held to a little bit more of a, account than just coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I liked about Jimmy Johnson. He was the same way when he coached Miami in college. No nonsense. He was the right guy for the culture in Dallas. But he had became the face of the Dallas franchise, America's team. And that's the problem that Jerry Jones had. The reason why we got rid of it. So now again, that just from that clip right there, man, it's kind of speaking my language. Yeah, I got it. Grown men We're on the plane. We can't eat. But he's the type of coach that's going to do what needs to be done to get your attention to make sure that, hey, we paying you these millions of dollars. When you get out there on the field, it ain't about the money. I need you to up your level of expectations, up your level of play, and go out here and get it done if you want to be winners. Now, is there more to that clip?
Is that from the Americans? Is that from the Jerry Jones documentary?
Yeah, that's from the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, I like what I saw. Just from that little bit right there. I like it.
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, so I had a similar experience in college. So I was a senior in college. I remember we had a shoot around one morning. It was early in the morning. We had like a midday game. I believe it was like 4 o'clock game time or something like that. So we came in like 8 o'clock in the morning for shoot around, and a couple guys were late. I think they came in either like a few minutes before, or they might have came in like right at 8 or 8:30 or whatever time it was scheduled for. And me being the team captain, coach looked right at me and was like, this is your fault. Didn't have the guys prepared, blah, 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 all this different stuff. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get into our practice unis, and instead of like having shoot around, he makes us run laps. There's an indoor track around the court in the main gym where we played our games at.
Yeah.
So we were running laps around the track. And while we were doing that, well, before we started doing that, the other assistant coaches and team managers were setting up breakfast for us. I do believe it was a weekend, and maybe the dining hall was closed or something, and they went out and they bought food for us to eat for breakfast. I believe it was like Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. But anyway, they were setting out on the table or whatever on the sideline, and as we were running around the track, the coach looked at them and told them to take all that food and throw it in the garbage.
I just paid for this.
So we were running, and I think they were like, I didn't think they thought he was serious at first, but like he told them, several times, like, hey, throw it away. They don't, they're not going to eat. Throw it away. They everyone, they're late, so throw it in the trash. So they threw it away. I don't know if they like took it to another room or something and like hid it, but they legit threw it in the trash. So we had like, I think maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or something, after the shoot around ended, to get ourselves together and come back to take the bus down to the game. And we were going, like I said, on the road, playing against a tough opponent, across town rival, and then in a hostile environment. And we were already like mentally, we had gone through it with the coach and all that stuff. So everyone's kind of pissed off or whatnot, didn't eat. I don't think anybody ate when we did have the 2 hours to get ourselves ready to go. But we went down to Norfolk to play Virginia Wesleyan, and we won that.
Yeah, I remember them guys.
Yeah, we won that game. I had 30. We went to overtime with them actually, and that was a huge deal because one, what happened earlier in the day, and then two, they were a really tough opponent, and they usually beat us up every time we played them. Like we could just never get over the hump with those guys, and that was the first time, finally, that we were able to finally get a victory over them in their gym. And I had a big game to go along with that. So the controversy that happened that morning, it worked out. I mean, I got the results. It got us refocused. We came in there with a chip on our shoulder already because they had embarrassed us in the past. And then, the extra that happened that morning was actually a blessing in disguise because it motivated me and others more so to play the game that we played at the level that we did. But yeah, that was one of many examples of the way my coach kind of coached. And when I saw the Jimmy Johnson clip, I was like, yep, old school coaching right there. Like all the good coaches, they do things like that. Now, can one on the outside looking in who don't understand that look at that and be like, oh, that's inhumane, that's not right? Yeah, yeah, you could say that, but at the same time, these coaches know what they're doing and they know the right buttons to push to, like my pops was saying, to get the team's attention. So I don't think we had any more issues, at least recently after that, of guys being late to anything. And then, obviously we were able to focus in and, we were able to get past that. But yeah, that's just one of many. But I thought that was, professional athletes going through something like that. Because sometimes I wonder how, when these guys get to a certain level, when they're making a certain amount of money, and a lot of them are getting paid more than the coach, like what can a coach do to them? How far can they push them, you know, before these guys, with these egos and, these big paychecks be like, nah, I'm not doing that. Or, these coaches, do they take it a little bit more lightly on these players because they're making so much money and they know if they do too much that this player could want to be traded or, start sitting out or whatnot. And it's like, what can you do? Like when money gets involved with these guys, it's very hard, I would think, to coach around that. So it's nice to see that, professional players, at least back in the day, with Jimmy Johnson taking an old school approach with these guys who were getting paid, a lot of money. Probably wasn't getting paid millions at the time, but was getting paid a lot of money nonetheless. And, treat them like they were a high school football team. When I saw Brian Schottenheimer making the Cowboys players run sprints in training camp because they were getting they kept fighting each other instead of competing and practicing and doing what they were trying to get accomplished. He stopped the practice like, all right, I'm gonna fix all this. And y'all hit the sideline and start running
Should have been
sprints.
working on defense.
Yeah, they should have been, right? And that might have been why they was fighting, because somebody won't defend them or doing their job on defense, getting lit up. I watched the offense training camps and clips and stuff, and they was getting things with ease. But I didn't put too much stock in it because it's training camp. But then, I guess that was a sign of things to come. But it was nice to see Brian Schottenheimer, a guy who was a first-year coach, a guy who was just in the building with that same team, be able to implement some kind of discipline to his players. I never seen, not saying Mike McCarthy didn't do it, or that Jason Garrett didn't do it, but I never seen of or heard of them, disciplining their players like that. That's very old school.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure it didn't happen. Not with them guys.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I was just listening to Shotty speak at press conferences and how he talks about things. He sounds way different than Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy when I listen to them. So that's why, I've kind of grown to trust him a little bit. Obviously his father, Marty Schottenheimer, was a big time coach. Had a very successful career. Didn't win the big one, but people knew who he was. Especially that was it the 06 Chargers team where they went 14-2, but got embarrassed in the playoffs.
They didn't get embarrassed. They lost. They lost to Tom Brady by like a field goal.
Yeah, but I speak on that because they went 14-2.
Yeah, and if the dude would have held on to that interception, they would have won that football game.
Yeah, but old school coaching is good, and that's why coaching nowadays is hard, because if you do something like that now, you take food from players. All it takes is somebody to go and say something, and then now the coach is fired or people coming down on the coach, and it's just you got to be real careful now. That's part of the reason why I don't take an interest into wanting to do it, because I'm gonna coach the way I've been coached, because I know it worked for me and it worked for the guys that played with me, through every level that I played on. And like I said, these kids nowadays are soft, man. You can't talk to them a certain way. You can't make them run too many sprints. You can't hold them accountable, because they'll go home to their parents, and instead of doing what my parents did and what others' parents did, people from my time, and holding the kid accountable, telling them to work harder, do more, not, coddling them and, trying to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Enable.
Yes. Enable them and make them think that, they're deserving of something. They're entitled to something that they ain't worked for. You know, you got too many parents. I've seen it. I did a little bit of assistant coaching with the high school team here a few years ago, and I was kind of in and out because I was, you know, working in the fire department, so I couldn't be there every day. But the times that I was there, I seen how the parents came at the head coach and the things they would say, and you know, some of the stuff they did. I seen players get, you know, moved in mid-season, taken off the team, or transfer to another school and play with another team. And I'm just like, it's like, you know, where's the accountability for these players? Like, these parents come to the games and they see it one way, but they're not there in the classroom. They're not there at practice seeing what the player is doing as to why the coaches are playing them the way they're playing them or not playing them.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that frustrates me. I wouldn't be able to deal with that. No, I can't. Like,
The
nope,
issue is
you ain't gonna come here and tell me how to run my team or run my practice when you're not even there. Like, your kid is not that good. Like, and your kid is not doing all the things that I'm asking him to do. That's why he's not playing. So
And
you
here,
can't just play because you're on the team. It don't work like that.
the
and here's
issue
the
is
thing too. Even when teams go through that, I guarantee you. And again, I hadn't seen that clip other than that little bit I saw, and I saw Michael Irvin talking. I guarantee you that team had appreciation for Jimmy Johnson for doing what he did, for getting there.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, players might not understand it right then, you know, especially going through the heat of the moment. But after a while, you know, hindsight, the light bulb will go off. And most of them will be appreciative that, hey, I'm glad I had a coach that put his foot where it needed to be put, you know what I'm saying, to help us get over that hump, to help us get through what we, you know what I'm saying, to change that focus, to push us so we could be winners. I guarantee you they appreciate that. Because I could tell y'all stories like that about the military, things that I've done. I'm going to say this real quick, and we're going to move on. I'm going to say this real quick. Trey, you know, I was just down there a couple of weeks ago, right before the shutdown happened. So I'm down there at Fort Pickett, right? In walked this soldier when we met on the first day from Fort Hood, Texas, who is now E7, Assault First Class, right? But this guy happened to be one of my soldiers when he came through AIT, came through boot camp. And when I walked in the room, now I'm a civilian, been retired for 8 years, right? Didn't even recognize him when I saw him. But when I walked through the door, he saw who I was, and he said immediately when he saw me, man, he got nervous. He remembered the things that I put them through, you know what I'm saying, when they didn't do what was right, i.e., you know, in there on a Saturday morning inspecting the barracks before they go out on a pass, right? Was supposed to be on a pass. My barracks wasn't clean. Instead of them getting their passes and going on or having them clean up and then letting them go, I tore up the place and then they had to stay and fix it. They lost them privileges for that weekend. But you better believe come next weekend, I didn't have no problems. And I had that presence, you know what I'm saying, based off the fact that I wasn't disrespecting anybody, but I was about the business of, look, you're going to do what I asked you to do, there's going to be consequences. But my presence, man, when I walked in, when I was coming in, man, you know, everybody, they go first off. Y'all better tighten up. And he said he specifically remembered that. And he was like, here it is, 15 years later, not knowing he going to see me and then see me walk in that room, all of them feelings came back. And other people were talking about, yeah, you must really have an impact on them guys. I probably did. But like I say, you know, seeing that clip about Jimmy Johnson and, you know, you speaking about what you went through, you know, as the captain, I can relate to that. That's why I say I ain't even seen that clip and I like it. I like it. Yep, coaching matters, but sometimes you got to get the players' of attention because everybody needs to be held accountable for this. Can't just put it all on the coach or all on the players for that matter.
Yep. 100%. I agree. I'm with it.
I don't want to bring up some of my military memories because they didn't take food from us sometimes. Sometimes they gave us all our food together in Gatorade bottles. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. All right. Now we going from player trigger to coach trigger. Make sure I get the right Coach Trey.
Yeah, Lady Ray, if you're watching, this is the only coaching capacity you're going to get me in. I'm sorry.
You see the picture I got? I went in the archives for the picture.
Oh, my goodness.
I went in the archives for the picture.
That
right,
guy.
let me get this screen shared. And then we got to swim back around and do our picks. Oh, I heard my boy name. He doing something. Yeah, I mean, y'all can.
I might need you to like pause and stop and certain
Oh,
points here if you're able to do that, so I can kind of.
I can try. Let
So
me
for
get some.
those who haven't seen this, this was from Monday night. The Miami Heat played the Cleveland Cavaliers in a thriller of a game. Um, right before this play, Donovan Mitchell hit a crazy three-point shot that tied the game at 138. They're already in overtime. So the score is tied at 138. We're threatening to go to a double overtime. It's zero point 0.4 seconds on the clock, as you can see. And Miami's got the ball side out, trying to run
Yeah,
this inbound play to get a shot at the basket.
yeah.
So go ahead and roll it all the way through.
The lob for Wiggins. He did it. The Heat win it. A spectacular finish for Miami.
So we're going to go back to the inbounder. Obviously, he throws the ball.
We asked for one more miracle. We got one more miracle.
All right, so as you can see here, you got Donovan Mitchell is on the ball. I don't know if y'all can see that, but the only way I can know it because I was watching the game. So he's on the inbounder. I probably would have had Jared Allen on the inbound pass just to make that pass a little bit harder because it's 0.4 seconds left. What's the only thing that can hurt you is a tip pass or a lob pass to the basket for somebody to come tip it in. Now, you can still catch and shoot with 0.4 seconds on the clock, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to do. So in this play, you want to force everything towards half court if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Donovan Mitchell, you can speed it up a little bit. I'm trying to get to.
Here's Wiggins up top.
Let's see. Keep going. Keep going.
He's going to rub off Mitchell. And the throw by Jovic right on the money is Wiggins.
They go all the way back to the beginning.
I gotta refresh. It's ain't gonna let me stop on the beginning like this. I'm gonna have to finagle. Hold on, cause it's Facebook. Oh, what you got? And by the time I get here,
Yes, right there. Pause it. Just leave it. Leave it just like that.
yeah, let's pause.
All right. So right here, you see Donovan Mitchell on the inbounder. Now, Donovan Mitchell, kids at home, everybody's watching, perfect, right? Like I said, you want to force everything towards half court because, you want to be angled to where you're trying to defend any pass to the basket. Again, I would have placed, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, somebody a little bit taller on the inbounder that looks like Jovic. And then you got Jaquez. I think Evan Mobley is over here guarding Jaquez. Jaquez is about to come to the ball side corner right there. So I probably would have switched Mitchell and Mobley, had Mobley on the inbounder, and had Mitchell on Jaquez. So up here at the top, the key, you got Andrew Wiggins, who is waiting on a screen from the point guard. You can't really see him, but he's right in between those two Cavalier players, the guy guarding Wiggins and then the guy who's guarding him, setting the screen. Yeah. Wiggins is going to come off the screen. Now, if you see the guy back here by the free throw line, Merrill, can you speed up a little bit? He's the key to this whole thing. Keep going a little bit more. Right there. So, Merrill, his man is setting the screen. That's Davion Mitchell, the point guard. He is setting the screen on DeAndre Hunter, who's guarding Andrew Wiggins. Powell's job was to run his guy all the way through there, create some kind of commotion or whatnot. So he runs his guy through, maybe make them think that they're going to throw this pass back court or whatever. And Wiggins' job after that is to come off this screen going to the basket to get a lob pass. So Mitchell's all over this, right? The guys in the corner over here kind of just hanging out. All this is opened up. So if you're Cleveland, you got to be thinking this is the only thing that they can do to, win the game here is get something at the rim. So all that space has been cleared out by Powell's cut and then Jaquez, who started on the weak side block, came all the way over to the strong side corner. So all that's cleared out for Wiggins. So Merrill here, who's guarding Davion Mitchell, he is a little out of position right here. He needs to be back at a free throw line a little bit more, a little bit deeper, so that he can see that guy coming off the screen and maybe step in, in between that path, make him redirect. If he bumps out, he can recover. But he was way too high. He was paying attention to the inbounder the whole time. He never saw his man get behind him. And that equaled Wiggins getting a wide open lob at the rim. So 0.4 seconds, this is the only thing that can hurt you. And that's what they got. That's what they end up with. But Merrill, that defender right there, he was a little too high, and he was a little too focused on the inbounder than being focused on his man. Because when your man is going to screen, he is no longer a threat, especially with 0.4 seconds on the clock. Like, Davion Mitchell is going to screen. They're not looking for him in that situation to get him the ball and have him hoist up a three-point shot. You got Norman Powell out there. You got Jaquez in the corner. You got Wiggins. There's like, 2 or 3 other guys who's probably going to get a touch before he does. So, Merrill, you've got to be helping right there.
Here.
You've got to see. You got to see. You got to turn and see. Like, he was so locked in on the inbounder that he never saw, he might have seen the screen. Like, step over and switch it. It's okay to switch that even though he's a guard and Andrew Wiggins is a forward because, again, it's 0.4 seconds on the clock. So you want to switch everything at this point because, you want to have a man have a body on somebody so they don't get anything wide open at the rim. But Merrill was too high on the help. He was out of position, and he was focused on the inbounder rather than seeing his ball and seeing the man. Andrew Wiggins was able to take that wide cut behind him and came right down the lane. Perfect pass by Jovic. That's why I say at least if that happens, if you get a taller guy on the inbounder, maybe that's a harder pass. He throws it a little bit off, off target, and maybe Andrew Wiggins has to make an adjustment to catch that ball and lay it in the basket. And maybe by the time he does that, the clock expires. They go to double OT. So that's why I think the Cavs messed up right there. They should have had somebody bigger on the inbound play. And obviously Merrill, I don't know what he was doing. He was just
should that be
he was locked in on the inbounder. Yeah, so he needs to let Hunter know the screen is coming. However, in this situation, because it's 0.4 seconds left, you don't have to worry about communicating whether or not you want to switch that screen or not. It's automatic switch because it's 0.4 seconds on the clock. Whoever catches it, they got to hoist it up right away. So even if you're, even if you fight over the top of it, you risk getting screened. You don't communicate, and you're late, and now the guy has a wide open run to the rim. And even Mitchell, if you go back to the beginning, I don't know if you can, Mitchell could have slipped that screen too and got into the paint because Merrill was so high. If Mitchell wanted to go slip and get a layup, he could have. But I know the play was designed for Wiggins to come off that curl and get that lob at the basket. But the way that Merrill was playing that screen because he was so high up, if it was like a couple seconds left, if he had some time, if it was like a regular inbounds play, he could have also had the option to slip to the rim because old boy was so high. Now, I don't know if that was – Huh?
Who was Merrill running to in this situation?
I don't know what that's why I'm saying he was the key to this whole thing working because he just loses his man. Like his man's going to set a screen and he's just locked in on the inbounder for some reason. So I don't know what he's looking for, what he was looking at. You have to ask him and, kind of see what his thought process was in that session. But maybe Powell's cut coming up through the middle of that threw him off. And he was, I don't know. But,
panicked.
Yeah, kudos to Powell for cutting hard and Andrew for setting up that cut and coming off that screen and Davion Mitchell for setting and absolutely drilling DeAndre Hunter on that screen to where Wiggins came off wide open. But Merrill should have been there for the switch had he been paying attention. But by the time he came out the paint and turned his back, he was done. He was beat. But right here, see, fast forward a little bit more. Right there. So Jovic got the ball, right? Look at Mitchell. He's setting that screen on Hunter. He got that hole. And now Mobley, he can see this. Jaquez, I would extend his out all the way to the corner. How far is he going to come with me? Is he going to stay back in the paint and try to help? He's going to get sucked all the way out to the corner because, again, you can't catch and shoot with 0.4. So if I was Jaquez, I would have drugged this out a little bit more just to kind of lure Evan Mobley away from the paint. And then, like I said, Mitchell sees this, if Yoke is able to see that pass, that's a bounce pass right there. If he cuts to the basket, maybe Mobley comes over to block the shot if he can recover in time. But if it was a little bit more time on the clock, you got that play because Merrill's too high. He's out. He's beaten. If Mitchell decides to take that lane to the basket, and if Jokic throws that pass into Mitchell, now you got 2-on-1 Evan Mobley. You drive and lay up, or you kick it to Jaquez, who can lay it up. You know, that's if you have more time on the clock. But it's 0.4 seconds. You're not really worried about having all that. But just, you know, I don't know what he came off his man. I don't know what Merrill's doing right there.
He came
like
off
Mitchell's
everybody.
extended. You know, Mitchell's extended his arms. He's trying to make this inbound pass hard. You know, there's, you know, Wiggins coming off his cut. He sees it. You know, DeAndre Hunter sees it. He's not going to be able to get over that screen in time. Merrill really is the only hope right here. Like, you got to get in his path. You got to force him to go outside. You got to throw off his lane to the basket. You got to do something. You can't just hang out there and come towards the inbounders and just give up a wide open lob over the top like that. And maybe Mobley, if he sees this, if he's looking to see his man out of position, maybe he can try to jet to the paint real quick and try to block this out at the rim. Again, that's why I say Jaquez should have been a little bit further out, draw him out further. Because then if I'm Mobley and I'm like, well, I don't want to leave him wide open in the corner, so maybe I'll go a little bit further, try to stay home on him in case he can throw it to him and he tries to shoot a three to win the game. But if Mobley can see this, he's kind of like a, you know, if Merrill's the last hope here, he can kind of back him up a little bit. He's a little bit too far out, but I think his length can make up for the space. He can get there in time. If he sees this, and he sees Andrew Wiggins coming off, and he sees that Merrill's not going to be able to get to him in time, he can go and try to help contest at the rim and see what happens. But otherwise, this is a great play call by Eric Spoelstra. He's one of the best, probably the best coach in the league at drawing up sideline out of bounds plays. And once again, he does it here in the clutch time, the clutch moment in the game. And Miami, instead of going to double OT with the Cavs, end up winning it on a tip-in dunk.
Is this a play you running 138, Trigger? Are you running this 138, 139?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's tied or if they got a 1-point lead, you're just trying to get two.
Yeah, for
Like
0.4 seconds.
Yeah,
you only got
0.4 seconds on the clock. I mean, you're gonna have to run a pretty good play to get a wide open three or get a decent look at three, and and then have the time. Hopefully a defender's not too close to where you gotta throw up a contested shot. But yeah, 0.4 seconds, you can catch and shoot, but it's not gonna be like you're gonna be rushing it.
The pass has to be to where you're facing the hoop. You can't do a turnaround shot.
Yeah, you got to have something facing the rim, something to go up at the basket pretty much right after you catch it.
And you got to have a Klay Thompson release. You can't have a slow release.
Yeah. So like I say, you get somebody a chance. If you need a catch and shoot in that situation, I mean, it's going to be hard to do because, again, it's only 0.4 seconds on the clock. You're going to be off balance. You're going to have to throw it up at the rim and just hope for the best. But if you can draw some up like that, where you can just throw it up at the rim and somebody can just catch it and put it in the basket, absolutely you do, especially if you're down one or if the game is tied. But if they needed a three in that situation, then that would have been a little bit harder to pull off. Probably would have went to double OT.
That's the play I saw that Detroit beat Miami on last year, was that play right there.
Some coaches will see players like that and they'll put that into their wheelhouse. They'll we did it. We ran up against teams and I was in college that ran, great inbounds plays. And next thing I know, my coach had, put in his own version of it. So, a lot of these coaches, they see, it's a copycat league, everywhere you go. Everyone's looking for something that they can try to gain an advantage on another team with. So, but yeah, Eric Spoelstra, they drew up a really good play on that inbounds and it worked. Everything was executed perfection, and every kid needs to watch that play. I know the NBA gets a bad rap for their effort and all that, but the cuts is what set it up. Norman Powell coming in, making that cut up the middle. It did something to Merrill. I don't know what did put him in La La Land or something. But that cut up the middle was a hard cut. Andrew Wiggins had a nice step towards the inbounder, and then he went off the screen the other direction. Davion Mitchell set a pinpoint perfect screen on DeAndre Hunter, and that's a point guard setting the screen on a forward, by the way. So it don't matter how big you are, like you can get it done if you do it correctly. And the angle of his screen too, like it wasn't a flat screen. Like he came in at an angle so that if DeAndre Hunter tried to fight over the top, he had to work a little bit harder to get around that. So that's why I say Merrill the guy at the free throw line was the whole key to that play. Had he been locked in, he would have seen that screen. It wouldn't have been no communication. No, hey, I'm gonna get through. Like, no. He would have just automatically switched off on the Wiggins. I know he's, at a disadvantage, but you got to at least get in his path and deter him on a clean break to the basket. Like you got to offer some kind of resistance in that situation. But for whatever reason, he was mesmerized by Jovic, and he stood off of him. He was out of position, and Andrew Wiggins made a hard cut off that screen right to the rim. And Donovan Mitchell was doing his best trying to, make that pass hard. But like I said, if they put Evan Mobley or brought Jared Allen in that situation to put him on the inbounder and make that pass tougher, that could have been a factor as well. But throwing it over Donovan Mitchell and Jovic is 6'10", well, he threw a perfect pass at the rim. I mean, perfect. It's like Mitchell wasn't even there. So
I know if
I
I'd
think
been
the
jumping
Cavs will
like
look
that,
at
I
it.
would need a rest day.
Yeah, I think the Cavs will look at it. They'll probably make. I would think they make an adjustment for that next time. They'll be prepared for it. Any team, for that matter. But that would be my suggestion to the Cavs. Is just I will put a taller inbounder. If I know he's got to throw a perfect pass at the rim, I'll put my tallest guy on him and make that pass hard. So just in case he happens to get open, like Wiggins did, and get an open shot at the rim, at least whoever's guarding the inbounder can try to throw that pass off a little bit to where it's not right into the breadbasket and he just lays it in for the game winner. For the Heat side, what could have been better, I think if Jaquez would have came out to the corner a little bit more to try to drag Mobley out of the picture a little bit. I think that's about it. They cut hard. Davion Mitchell had a great screen. Jovic threw a perfect pass. I mean, everyone did their jobs in that play, and they had to for it to come out the way that it did. So kudos to the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra for executing that play at a high level. And, Merrill, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but he's the reason why that play worked the way it did.
And it was a great play. Shout out to the Miami Heat. Let's get to this question.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep, I'm not a basketball coach, nor do I aspire to be one, but I broke it down for all you guys out there watching. I hope you learned something.
Lady Ray says, I don't care what he says. Someone needs this.
Well, I appreciate the compliment.
Well, the sun's starting to set on us, so let's get to these picks. We had a
All right.
games, but it's getting to that time of night. First game we got is this tomorrow. New York Jets at the New England Patriots. New England Patriots are having their new Nor'easter jerseys on.
Give me the Patriots. Thursday night is not going to be a blowout, but give me the Patriots.
Everything in me is saying the Patriots, but the Jets don't won 2 in a row. They traded away probably their 2 best defenders and still won a game. Albeit the last 2 teams they played against, weren't world beaters, but they're wins nonetheless, especially for a team that's been struggling. And I think sometimes when a team like that gets 2 wins, 2 gritty wins the way that they did, and then you trade away the heart and soul of your defense, that could motivate them going forward. And this is a divisional game, nonetheless. I know it looks lopsided on paper, but it is a divisional game. It's a Thursday night game. The Patriots should win this game. The Jets got nothing to lose. They're already, the season's over. They're not expected to do anything against the Patriots, but this would be one of them games right here where I feel is a classic trap game for the Patriots. With all that being said, give me New England Patriots. I like the way I set that up.
Yeah, give me the Patriots. It's going to be close. It's going to be a 1-score game. It's going to come down to the final second, but I still think New England's going to win.
Yeah, give me New England.
I kind of wish they would get rid of Thursday night games. I just, Thanksgiving and the first week of the season should be only Thursday night games. Me personally.
I say give me New England, but don't be surprised if the Jets find a way to win this game magically somehow.
All right. What about you, Mr. B?
Yeah, I'm going with the Patriots.
Patriots?
Yeah. kind of feel sorry for for the coach. But yeah, they done made some moves. They working on next season. They done traded up everybody, got them picks, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do in the draft next year with all the picks they got. So
And shout out,
Patriots should win.
and shout out to Drake May, who is my starting quarterback on my fantasy team, leading me to victory every week.
And shout out to Travion Henderson, man. I saw him. I officiated his junior year of high school. That boy is the truth. Hopewell's finest.
Dang, you old.
Yeah, I figured that Travion Henderson was going to break out at some point, and maybe now he'll actually win the starting job.
So funny
He hasn't
story.
already.
Yeah, so funny story. So I had the Hopewell game, and he does a play, y'all. He does a spin and hurdle. I'm in shock. I'm looking at him. I happen to look down. One of the players from the opposing team is getting mauled. Coach is cussing me out. And the only thing I had to say was, "Coach, my bad. I ain't see it." I ain't never seen an athlete like that before.
He said,
Never.
Coach, my bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, that's all I
think the
say.
best-
Coach, my bad.
I think the best running back I saw in high school that went pro was it David Wilson?
David Wilson, man.
Man, he came to Matoka. He ran all over the 6 touchdowns and had like 400 yards.
Ain't that the one where he picked the joint up on the opening kickoff and just took it to the house? Off the
Yeah.
ground?
Oh, that was in the
believe so.
second half, wasn't it?
No, I was there. Probably.
I think the first time he
mean,
touched the ball, he scored a touchdown on the kickoff.
I think every time he touched it, he scored a touchdown. I mean, that dude, he lit us up. It was, that was the first time I've seen a pro before he got to the pros. But yeah, he ended up playing with the Giants.
Yeah.
It messed his neck up.
Yeah, but yeah, shout out to him though. He was a beast.
All right, we got the Commanders. Oh, my bad, Trigger.
Oh no, you good?
We got the Commanders versus the Dolphins in Madrid. I think it's the first NFL game played in Spain.
Ugh.
Give me the Dolphins.
I must say, I don't like the team. I have to go with the Dolphins because I think the Commodores they're done.
You say Commodores.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commander, Commodores, Temptations, one of them groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins. The Dolphins are coming off a big win against, was it Buffalo? Yeah, they beat Buffalo, 31-13?
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. And then the Commanders, they're too banged up, man. They got too many injuries on both sides of the ball. I mean, this is one of them years for them, unfortunately. The injury bug has bitten them, and I think the Dolphins will win this game.
Yep, I agree.
Dolphins. I'm gonna go with Lano on them. I think they bounce back and get a win.
I'm gonna go with Lano.
Go Lano on them. That's who they got on there playing quarterback by now. All right, Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons.
Boy,
Dirty Birds. We're gonna go with the Birds.
Yeah, give me the Dirty Birds, man. I'm with you, Wise. I don't know about Bryce Young, and you're going up against the number 1 ranked pass defense. And they got blown out 30-0. They are looking for some revenge.
In Atlanta too, for sure.
Yeah.
Trigger, who you got?
oh man, this is hard for me because even though Atlanta on paper seems to be the better team with the better personnel, like Carolina just seems to have that number, and it's not just this season, but in the past too.
Okay.
So I feel like if I pick Carolina, Atlanta's gonna win. So give me Atlanta.
Thank you, Trigger. I appreciate your sacrifice.
I tried, brother. I tried.
I appreciate your sacrifice because last week we all picked Carolina and look what happened.
Well, yeah, we did. That was the first time ever happened on this show, ain't it?
No, I think it happened before.
Yeah, I think it happened before. Yeah.
We got to push the ball down the field. Whether it's Dave, whether it's Bryce, it can't all be Rico. Rico's got a quad injury. Chuba's coming back. Trevor Etienne. We got the weapons. We got to see something. I got to see the ball get pushed down the field. I can't say this team is going to win if we are not passing the ball more than 10 yards down the field. Because teams are going to do what the Saints did. They're going to stack the box, and they're going to dare us to pass. But with all that being said, I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young throwing for more than 250 yards this week. Carolina on top. Carolina on top. Tampa Bay Bucks at the Buffalo Bills. Who you got?
Ooh,
Must
Tampa
win
Bay
for
and Buffalo.
This is must win for Buffalo.
yeah, give me Buffalo, man.
Where's the game at?
It's
In
I think it's
Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo coming off a loss too. Yeah,
Tampa Bay don't do good. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like, but New York in November and mid-November, it can't be good.
yeah, it's a tough place to play no matter how cold it is. But yeah, give me
I want to say Buffalo as an NFC South fan, but Baker Mayfield gonna come out here and tear that secondary up. I think they go in and beat them, but I need them to lose so we can, because we're gonna win Sunday. So I need them to lose so we can close in on the division. But
don't win Sunday.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I think Baker gonna do it. Todd Bowles. I don't trust the Bills defense. If we had Bryce Young in that game, we beat the Bills too, even though they blew us out. If we had Bryce Young, we beat them.
Buffalo lose this game. They playoff chance gonna look real bleak. This is a must win for them.
Is Sean McDermott on the hot seat?
Okay,
No,
Arson, get up.
I don't think he has won too much.
Won what?
I mean, he's won too many games. I mean, yeah, the postseason hasn't
You
been.
beat the Jets, the Dolphins, and
But I'm just
Patriots.
saying overall. I mean, he has gotten it done. And just the only issue is he's going up against Andy. He can't beat Andy Reid in the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
Yeah,
in the regular season.
Yeah, he owns them in the regular season, but
You had to change the rules in the playoffs.
yeah, you still can't beat him.
So yeah, we'll see. It is. I think it is a must win for Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
But they need some weapons. That Stephon. What if they? I heard something today. What if Stephon Diggs get a Super Bowl before Josh Allen? Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You said what?
They are balling.
What was the next game?
Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers love to find. I mean, the Jaguars love to find a way to lose games.
What
do
time
this
is that
this
game?
season,
What
man?
time is that game?
1 o'clock. I'm going with the Chargers.
Ooh, West Coast team playing at 1 o'clock.
The Chargers and who? Jacksonville.
Yep.
Give me the Chargers.
I don't know, man. Because the last time the Chargers played at 1 o'clock Eastern time, they played the Giants and they lost.
It's not the same old Chargers.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Really?
I just the Chargers playing a 1 o'clock Eastern game. They have never been good.
Didn't they had a mini bye, didn't they? Because they played on Thursday night last week, right?
But I mean, still their body is still on unless they've been in New York for a week. But if they flying out Saturday, they not gonna get accustomed to that time.
Well, I don't know. Is it that big in the NFL now?
I think it is. I think teams are more they're prepared for it now. I think now they be like on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But I mean the Chargers still struggle. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my pick. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
Jacksonville 4 miles. Let me see. They were at the Dolphins and won. They were at the Titans and won. Yep, they did lose at the Giants. They lost to the Commanders at home. Then they lost to the Colts at home. But they're at the Jaguars. Then they're going against the Raiders, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. That's a tough schedule too. Bears at Vikings.
Oh, who did Mr. Benefield pick?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Mr. B.
I got the Chargers.
Oh, Chargers, okay.
Yeah.
Bears at Vikings. I'm going with the Bears.
Give me the Vikings.
Give me the Vikings.
I kind of want to lean with them, but they've been up and down. They got JJ back, and I know he ain't played but a handful of games, and he still got to get his bearing underneath him as far as NFL games. Since they playing in Minnesota, I'm gonna ride with y'all. I'm gonna go with the Vikings, but the Bears riding the high right now. And I think that momentum gonna carry a little bit. And this is a divisional game too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, we got the Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants. Do the Green Bay Packers bounce back, or do the New York Giants get the fired coach bump?
I think the Packers are gonna win. I think the Giants are absolute mess. But you know what? My boy Jabo gonna be playing. He gonna throw for 300 yards,
Yes,
3
sir.
touchdowns, and 2 pick sixes.
Who? Winston?
Yeah,
Surgical execution.
right.
You said the Packers.
All right, give me the Packers. James Winston. He gonna keep him in it, and then he gonna mess it up. He gonna fight, then he gonna do something to where they gonna lose the game.
I like to see the Giants win just to see what they're gonna come back and talk about Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Who the Giants playing again?
The Packers.
Packers.
Oh, man. Oh. Give me the Packers.
I think the Packers gonna win it too, but I like to see New York.
I'm gonna be rooting so hard for the Giants though.
I think they just got too many variables to overcome, man.
Yeah, I want to see Jameis Winston do good though. I'm gonna be rooting for the Giants.
I think that D-line gonna get after Jordan Love for the Giants.
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but Jameis Winston is going to. Like he always do. He's going to fight, but then he overfights and to where he does too much, and it's going to cost him at the end.
If it's snowing, I'm taking Jameis. If it's snowing.
Well, Green Bay playing the snow too now.
Yeah, I was saying Green Bay playing cold weather.
I know, but I'm talking about Jameis, just his attitude, his energy. That interview he did.
Get to play in some snow.
Yeah. All right, Bengals at the Steelers.
Give me the Steelers.
I'm going to the Bengals.
That defense is just putrid.
Yeah, give me the Steelers. The Bengals, after they lost that game to Chicago, I've lost all faith in them.
And then that locker was probably a wreck since
yeah.
But I need Burrow back at practice. There's hope.
Yeah, but he ain't playing though.
And he ain't playing defense.
Yep.
Yeah, I like to see Aaron Rodgers lose. I don't like Aaron Rodgers at all, but I think the Bengals defense is too bad for them to overcome this win. So this is actually pretty good setup for Pittsburgh to bounce back to try to maintain that lead they got in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I would love to see the Steelers lose as well, because that's gonna really, they lose to the Bengals, there's really gonna be some problems.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm picking them to win. They should win this game. They're also coming off a loss.
Yeah. And they got Asante Samuel
like
Jr.
Buffalo, they were looking to bounce back.
Signed a new cornerback. Maybe the defense gets better. Texans at Titans.
Give me the Texans.
I don't know. Is it Davis Mills or is it CJ?
They got the number 1 scoring defense, and the Titans got the 32 scoring offense. Score might be 9. This game might be 9-6. It might not be no touchdowns in this game.
Give me the Texans.
Yep, I got the Texans too. Yep, Texans.
CJ is questionable. Jalen Petrie is questionable. Azeez Al-Shaair is questionable. Kicker questionable. All right, I'm going to go with Texans, too. So Texans all the way across the board.
Damn, that means the Titans going to win.
Mm-hmm. All right, 49ers at Cardinals.
Give me the Niners. Marvin Harrison is not playing.
I'm going to Niners, too.
Yeah, Niners should win. I like to see them lose, but they probably going to win this one.
The Niners and who they playing?
Cardinals.
Yeah, 49ers.
49ers all the way? All right. We got the Seahawks at the Rams.
That's the game right there.
Oh, my God.
Give me the Rams.
Yeah, give me the Rams, man. I am starting to see old Sam Darnold. He is starting to turn back into old Sam Darnold.
You think so?
Yeah, Seattle has not played a very strong schedule so far. This will be their first test.
I watched that. Yeah,
I think the Rams gonna get them.
You don't think that defense, man? I think that Seattle defense is relentless.
They are, but Sam Darnold makes too many mistakes. He made 3 mistakes in that game against Arizona, even though they blew him out. Arizona should have had a goose egg. But Sam Darnold had 3 turnovers to where that team scored 3 touchdowns. They shouldn't have scored 3 touchdowns with that defense. I just don't trust. I think Sam Darnold, you're right. He's starting to turn back to his old ways. I'm going to have to take the Rams.
I'm going to Rams too. Puka and Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams. And Mr. B, you going to Seahawks?
Yeah, then who the Seahawks just picked? Didn't they get that receiver from New Orleans, from the Saints?
They did. Yep.
Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, man. I think their defense is better, and if Donald don't make the mistakes, man, I don't know. I think that cat coming from New Orleans, man, gonna add an extra step to that offense.
Yeah, JSN got another running mate now. It's only going with speed too. So you're gonna have to stay over the top with him. Yep. But all right, the Ravens and the Browns. When will we see Shedeur Sanders?
Give me the Ravens. I love the Ravens. I think they are peaking at the right time. They have won
Lamar Jackson
3 in a row.
Jackson's healthy.
Yeah, Jackson's healthy. Their schedule is not as tough. They are peaking. They are peaking.
He ain't as healthy. He didn't practice today or yesterday. One of them days. Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Talking about, they say that they set him out for a day for knee soreness.
Okay.
Now he's supposed to be back in practice tomorrow. I think he missed today for whatever reason. He didn't practice.
And that knee soreness is a big issue with the weather changing. The bones get cold. Woo.
Yep. And they're playing in Cleveland.
Yeah, and they're playing in Cleveland, but I'm gonna still take the Ravens.
I'm going to Ravens.
Pittsburgh, watch out.
I'm also going Baltimore.
I think Baltimore's 1 game back now?
Yep, they 4-5, and then Baltimore.
One game behind Pittsburgh. That's why I like to see Pittsburgh lose one, because I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I would love to see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. B, you going to Ravens too?
Yeah. Into the quarter. 3-5.
We got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos.
Give me the Chiefs. I think, just like the Ravens, I think Mahomes is about to have some magic. They are about to go on a crazy run. I know they're 5-4. Yeah, they ain't like the teams in the past, but I think Andy Reid and Mahomes, they're gonna whip something up. They're gonna make a nice playoff push.
I put them in the same category too. For Kansas City, this is a must win for them to keep their playoff hope alive, because they already got 4 losses. And they can't afford to fall back any further. So they got to get this win over them.
Mm-hmm. And they're in a tough division, too. They're 3rd right now in the division.
Yeah.
Here's a crazy stat. Denver has the best record in the NFL, but they lead the league in punts.
They do most of their damage and most of their scoring in the second half, primarily the 4th quarter. Remember now, they got the most 4th quarter wins this year too.
Yep, they sure do.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because I don't know if PS2 playing.
Okay.
Now the Miami Heat already have 14 fouls. They're not even 2 minutes into the 4th quarter yet.
You picking Miami Heat to win the game trigger
against Cleveland when they rested all their starters?
Against the Denver
Absolutely.
Broncos.
Oh yeah, them too. But no, I'm picking the Chiefs.
All right.
Chiefs all the way around.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday night football. Detroit Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Look, I love the Lions. I love Dan Campbell. I still think they are the best team in the NFC. But look, stop going for it on every 4th down. That is going to cost you in the playoffs. I get it. You like to bite off kneecaps. Y'all are not the underdog anymore, man.
That's what happened to them 2 years ago when they should have been in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching. They had the 49ers beat in that NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
going bad coaching decisions. Want to go for it, man. Let them boys back in the game. And I told you, I keep telling you again, I ain't rooting for Detroit because of my father-in-law, but that was their chance to get their Super Bowl in, and they blew it. It's gonna be hard to get back.
Yeah.
Detroit should have been in the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah. I love that Detroit team, but sometimes Dan Campbell, he's a little too aggressive. But give me Detroit. I just.
What y'all think about Dan Campbell taking over play calling and that offense looking way better?
It was necessary.
It was necessary, but I would need to see. He went up against the Commanders defense. That's not really saying much.
Yeah, I said it was necessary for the reasons that he did it. You know, he didn't do it for it to be a permanent thing. He's just trying to bring that offensive coordinator along,
right?
Get him caught up to speed, and then he's gonna relinquish the play calling duties back to him. So I think that's a good step as far as leadership on Dan Campbell's part. I like it.
All right, so everybody going Detroit, or we got Philly?
Yep, Detroit.
No Philly. Ooh, no Philly.
Jalen Hurts is not the answer.
Why you say that?
He just, I mean, AJ, you hear what AJ Brown said today, right? AJ Brown, he wants out.
He said something today?
Yeah, he said something about don't start me on your fantasy team or something in that nature. He wants out of Philly. I don't think he's happy with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I mean, we saw that at Alabama. That's why he got benched at Alabama for Tua. I just don't think he's it. He is a product of a good team. He is the Trent Dilfer of his team.
He made several comments. He said no. He said, "Where have you been?" Brown replied with a laugh. "Family's good. Everything else? No, it's a shit show." You on some how you been? I've been struggling, brother. If you got me in your fantasy football, man, get rid of me.
This is legit.
No, it's a video. He was on some streamer, and it's a video of him saying
that. He might not be an Eagle much longer after this season.
He might not be Eagle during this season. They might get rid of him. At least get some assets for him.
Well, they can't trade him.
Trade deadline, yeah. You gotta wait.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, they can't trade him, but yeah, they ain't gonna cut him for nothing either. So, yeah, maybe in the off season or at the draft they might trade, try to get some more picks or something. But yeah, I just think that this has been going on far too. This is going this third season in a row now. He's been unhappy and think, yeah. I don't see how he at some point don't request a trade.
All right, I'm listening to it. I'm trying to listen to it. I don't know if has it been confirmed as AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Because that's just crazy. He threw the ball to himself. Said, "Look what happens when you throw this person the ball." So that's wild. That's wild, boy. All right, the game of the week: the Dallas Cowboys at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Everybody got the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys.
I picked the Raiders.
Even the Panthers fan going with the Cowboys.
Hey, Geno might tear that secondary up.
Oh no, Geno will have a field day.
Give me the Raiders.
And
no way, Trigger. You ain't Trigger.
Give me the Raiders.
Everybody get up for the Cowboys. Now, have y'all seen the Raiders' offense and how putrid they look this year?
Yeah, I heard.
Horrible. That's why they don't beat the Cowboys.
Watch how they look against the Cowboys.
That's why I'm picking them.
I'm watching Geno now the first couple of games, and I don't know if I think I was talking to Takora Trey when the season started, and I was down in Virginia, man. I watched that game. The Raiders played. I forgot who they played, man, but they looked so bad. I said, "Yeah, this is a bad looking team." Geno looked terrible. the offense just was just bad. But this is maybe what, first, second game of the season, and they hadn't changed much. They really looked bad. That offense is yeah.
And Brock Bowers too.
I was
They
watching
got
them last
weapons.
week. Yeah. I was watching them last week. Gino was upset at the cat that was in the running back didn't pick up that blitz. He stepped up in the no man's land. I was like, yeah. He was like, he didn't want no part of trying to stop that. So I'm gonna just step on the other side like I didn't see him coming. You saw him, you knew he was coming. Yeah, it's bad offense. But now watch how they look against the Cowboys, man.
Raiders will win.
Hey, Trigger, you about to make me really change my pick because this is a game that Dallas lose bad.
Well,
and
I'm gonna
that's
tell
gonna
you
That's
be
what they
what.
said
headline
about
this
the
If the
week.
Cardinals.
Raiders win this game, Dallas might
beat
not
the
win a game for
Cardinals.
the rest of the season.
You said what?
I said, if the Raiders win this game, Dallas might not win a game for the rest of the season. Well, they still got to play the Giants and the Commanders.
Y'all gonna let Jameis come out there and beat you?
Oh yeah,
Jameis gonna throw that ball, but that's when Trayvon and Darrell Bland earned their contract.
Yeah,
All
truth be
right.
told, when the Cowboys played the Giants the last time, they should have lost. Oh boy, put up 450 yards on them and lost the game.
And then lost his job next week.
yeah. I was saying, he got benched in the following week.
Yeah.
Do y'all think Russ has tarnished his Hall of Fame legacy with the way
Yeah,
he's played over the last?
he needed to let it go.
Right.
It's starting to get to that level because he looking bad everywhere. So ever since he left Seattle, it ain't been good.
Well,
He wasn't bad in Pittsburgh, but
Right.
yeah, Denver was atrocious, and then get with the Giants, and it ain't been no better.
That's it. Well, any last words before we get out of here tonight, gentlemen?
Yeah, I just want to say one quick thing. Mr. Benefield, I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't know you was coming on the show to the end. A couple weeks ago, we talked about a player from Verona. He lost his eligibility because apparently one of the coaches from Henrico, his old school, told VHSL that he still lived in the Henrico area, and now he can't play. And this is his senior year. Trigger kind of talked about his experience about what happened with him his senior year, and I kind of now, as we talking, I kind of wanted to get your side of the story if you wanted to share it. So maybe next time you come back on, I would like to hear your side of that story.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. If you want to talk about Trigger, because I know that's kind of hard for you to talk about.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate y'all having me as always. Treat me as a special guest. It's always good, talking with you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Keeping me up to speed. I don't do much of the social media stuff, obviously. So, like when y'all was talking earlier about seeing certain things, a lot of things I don't catch. And then trying to get back into the love of the NBA game like I used to. But, the players done changed. Half of these guys, I don't know. I'm starting to, do a little bit better this year with it. Understanding who, some of the key players are, like, the guy from OKC, SGA. I like his game, starting to watch him a little bit more. Even right here in Detroit with, Cade Cunningham, young, upcoming star. Just the name change is different for me, compared to the old school league. So, but I'm trying to get that. I had fell off with the NBA for a little bit, and it just don't feel like it used to feel. And that's probably because, hey, all of those old head guys have moved on. So, but I appreciate, talking and dialoguing with you guys because, it keeps me, kind of up to speed with what's happening, as I try to get back into learning, some of these young players and, new faces of the league, I guess, if you will.
Well, appreciate you. Thank you,
Yes,
as
sir.
always. Trigger, Miami Heat, contenders in the East.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, it's there for them. And they've been playing pretty good basketball for the most part, except this game.
And they resting everybody
I
too.
just can't. Yeah, that's the thing. They beat them with their starters, and then the bench players. They led this whole game, and now they're down 8 points with 5.5 minutes to go. And it don't look like they're cutting out of the slump no time. I mean, they getting whatever they want. Golly, now they're down 10.
All right.
They might have scored just 4 points this entire quarter. Sorry, 5 points.
So
wow, this is bad.
Miami versus Detroit
You
Eastern
can't
Conference
lose.
Finals this year.
You can't be fully healthy and lose to the bench players though. Like guys off the bench coming here doing this. What are we doing?
You think they got too ahead of themselves like the Carolina Panthers? They started smelling that, drinking that Kool-Aid, and they got humble.
Maybe, I don't know, but this is a game they're supposed to win.
Carolina's supposed to beat the Saints. Trigger. We was the first time we was favored. I think in the first time we was favored for. I know since we was favored to the Jets, but the first time we was favored over 3 points is in a while, and we get beat by 14.
Yeah. Well, all right, fellas.
All right, I'm Be Wise.
I'm Miles.
And I'm Trigger.
And I'm me.
And this
Thank you for
Ballas.
joining us.
We out. Hey, shout out. Oh, I do want to say this before we go. It's Men's Health Awareness Month. All types of health. Men go get screened. Take care of your mental health. We'll talk more about it, but it is Movember. Shout out to everybody who's going through something. Don't suffer alone. Don't suffer in silence. RIP to Marshawn Kneeland. Please, please, please reach out if you need it. Truly, truly, truly. So that's it. Peace and love.
All right, stay prayed up.
Yes, yes. See y'all later.
Leave the door